Welcome to This Explainer. Think about this for a second. Millions of people are packing their bags right now, hopping on planes and venturing out into destinations way beyond their own borders. The global tourism sector is absolutely booming, but have you ever actually stopped to think about the crucial, invisible bridge that makes all of this cross-cultural travel possible? I mean, how do we navigate, understand, and truly appreciate places where we literally don't speak a word of the language? Well, that invisible bridge is tourism translation. It's basically the silent engine driving the entire modern travel experience. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it works, why it matters, and where it's heading next.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We've got 4 main pillars shaping the future of travel communication: translating the tourism boom, the power of localization, promoting sustainable tourism, and finally, the tech transformation.
Starting right off with our first pillar, translating the tourism boom beyond borders.
So, as global travel experiences this massive, remarkable growth, we're seeing a sheer volume of travelers completely stepping out of their linguistic comfort zones. And that creates a huge demand for information that is clear, precise, and culturally appropriate. To meet this demand, we rely on tourism translation. This is all about tailoring travel content to align perfectly with the linguistic and cultural preferences of global audiences. And I want you to really notice that word, tailoring. This specialized discipline isn't just about pulling out a dictionary and swapping an English word for a French one. It's way deeper than that. Effective tourism translation enriches the whole tourist experience, making you feel welcome and understood. And for global businesses, it's a real game changer. If a hotel or a tour operator can seamlessly connect with diverse audiences, their market appeal absolutely skyrockets.
Which brings us nicely to our second pillar, the power of localization, cultural adaptation.
Now we're shifting the narrative here from literal, word-for-word translation to true cultural adaptation. That is what localization is all about. It takes translation one step further by adapting content both linguistically and culturally so it actually makes sense and feels relevant to the target audience. Translators working in this space need an incredibly high level of language literacy. They literally have to capture the original text's aesthetic vibe, the local customs, and all those tiny cultural nuances, entirely without losing the original style. You know, if a travel brochure is meant to be funny and lighthearted, a rigid, literal translation could end up sounding incredibly stiff or awkward in another language. Localization ensures that the feeling of the text translates just as perfectly as the hard facts. And this brilliantly illustrates the concept in action. Let's compare an original English text to its localized Arabic translation. In English, a super common promotional phrase for, say, extreme water sports is ideal for adrenaline junkies. Now, if you translate adrenaline junkies literally into Arabic, it might sound overly medical, kind of bizarre, or even have a negative connotation. So instead, the localized Arabic translation translates back to something closer to ideal for lovers of adventure. The translator took the concept of high-energy excitement and localized it into a phrase that carries a culturally appealing meaning for Arabic readers. Excitement is translated culturally, not just literally. Honestly, that is the magic of localization.
Moving on to our third pillar, promoting sustainable tourism. Words, protecting the world.
Now, you might be wondering, what does translation have to do with the environment? It's actually a super surprising application of the field. Specialized translation practically protects environments and empowers local host communities by driving sustainable practices. To ground this, the United Nations defines sustainable tourism as taking full account of current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts. So it's this incredibly delicate balancing act, an ecosystem involving visitors, the travel industry, the environment, and the local host communities. And the right communication? That's the glue holding the whole shebang together.
Within this umbrella of sustainability, translators have to navigate some highly specific, nuanced concepts. Take a look at the difference between ecotourism and responsible travel. Ecotourism is a very specific, natural resource-based form of tourism. It's low impact and heavily focused on conservation. Responsible travel, on the other hand, refers to the individual behavior of a traveler trying to minimize their negative impacts wherever they are. A skilled translator needs to understand the clear difference between promoting a specific eco-lodge, which is ecotourism, and translating a little sign that asks you to turn off the lights when you leave your hotel room, which is responsible travel. Both are absolutely vital dimensions of sustainability that translators have to get right.
So the crucial point is, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, transition's sustainable impact is incredibly tangible. We're talking about multilingual guides instructing tourists on eco-friendly practices, or promotional campaigns pushing responsible waste reduction. It's community engagement, where local voices are translated so they can share authentic experiences with international visitors. But perhaps the coolest part is the translation of visitor feedback. When tourists leave reviews about their experience, translating that feedback back into the local language allows the host communities to actually understand different perspectives. It helps them adapt and improve their sustainability efforts. It's a two-way street of communication that directly protects the destination. And that brings us to our fourth and final pillar, the tech transformation, revolutionizing the landscape. Let's dive in and see how technology is drastically changing how tourism translation is executed and experienced. This dense tech landscape neatly categorizes into three clear lanes. First up, we've got automated tools, things like machine translation and mobile apps. These give tourists on-the-go access to translate menus and street signs in real time. Then we have tech focused on the visitor experience. Think augmented reality, virtual reality, and interactive guides. Just imagine holding your phone up to historical ruins and getting a narrated AR sightseeing tour seamlessly translated into your native language. It's deeply immersive learning. And finally, behind the scenes, we have quality improvement tools. Computer-assisted translation, or CAT tools, alongside terminology glossaries, help professional human translators maintain absolute accuracy and lightning speed across massive multilingual projects. But the tech doesn't stop at translation apps. Data analytics and social media are playing massive roles now. Tourism businesses are expanding their global reach through user-generated content and crowdsourced translations. When tourists share their travel experiences on social media in multiple languages, the idea spreads like wildfire, naturally attracting similar linguistic demographics. Plus, companies are tapping into AI chatbots, e-commerce platforms, and data analytics to deeply understand user interactions. This means tour operators can actually personalize and tailor their translated content directly to specific demographics, expanding their market appeal and making travel planning incredibly inclusive for everyone. So we've covered the booming global demand, the deep nuance of localization, the push for sustainable tourism, and the technological revolution shaping this entire field. Now, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question drawn directly from our exploration today. As travelers become more and more tech-savvy, what expectations will they have for personalized and localized translation services in tourism? Because as we move forward, a basic, rigid translation simply won't cut it anymore. Travelers are going to expect seamless, culturally resonant, and highly personalized communication at every single step of their journey. The invisible bridge of tourism translation is only getting stronger, and understanding it is key to understanding the future of global travel. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.